1-year anniversary of sports shutting down in the evening and the ensuing day. I'm excited to have the conference basketball tournaments back. And we also had yesterday the Dak Prescott press conference, which felt like a normal press conference, by the way. We haven't had a lot of those normal press conferences. Lots of people there in person, Dak, Jerry Jones sitting side by side. And I thought this was emblematic about what exactly Jerry Jones has accomplished with the Dallas Cowboy franchise. I saw this was tweeted out by Sage Steele. Jerry Jones bought the Dallas Cowboys in 1989 for $140 million. And if you remember, back in 1989 when Jerry Jones paid $140 million for the Cowboys, so many people out there were like, oh my God, Jerry Jones, what is he thinking? He is wildly overpaying for the Dallas Cowboy franchise. That's what everybody said. And even Jerry Jones himself has acknowledged people thought he was a lunatic. Who's this crazy Texas oil guy, 1989, buying the Dallas Cowboys, $140 million. He's a madman. He's going to lose money hand over fist. He's got no opportunity here. $140 million in 1989. Jerry Jones just paid his quarterback, Dak Prescott, $160 million over the next 4 years. So Jerry Jones, 32 years after he bought the Dallas Cowboys, is now going to be in a position where he is paying his quarterback over the next 4 years $20 million more than he bought the entire franchise for way back in 1989. That is an incredible accomplishment by Jerry Jones. And what are the Cowboys worth right now? $5.5 billion. Jerry Jones turned an investment into the Dallas Cowboys that cost him $140 million into a $5.5 billion franchise valuation in the space of about 32 years. A lot of people out there can criticize Jerry Jones as it pertains to his role as a general manager of the Dallas Cowboys. And Lord knows he hasn't been perfect in his analysis of talent or in terms of taking the Dallas Cowboys back to the promised land after Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer got the Cowboys 3 titles early in Jerry's tenure in Big D. But what he has been is, I think there's a strong argument for this, maybe the greatest owner in the history of team sports. I think you could put George Steinbrenner on that list. It's a short list. I think you could put Jerry Jones on that list. And I think you'd probably have to put Jerry Jones at the absolute top, at the apex of that list for what he has been able to accomplish. It's really pretty extraordinary. When we come back, by the way, in the second hour of the program, we got a big new weekly guest that I'm excited to debut. He is Will Cain. Formerly had his own radio program on ESPN. He now will be joining us weekly on Fox Sports Radio. He is a weekend host on Fox and Friends on Saturday and Sunday, and he's also going to be debuting his own podcast in April. I think you guys are going to absolutely love him. I am excited to add him as the newest member of the Outkick family. Encourage you to go follow him at Will Cain on Twitter. And then in the third hour of the program, we are scheduled to be joined by Jeff Schwartz. But in the meantime, rejoice. 1 year after Rudy Gobert tested positive and the entire NBA shut down, we now are celebrating the Texas Rangers announcing that they are going to have 100% capacity on April 5th for the start of the Major League Baseball season. And lots of people have already come out and said, we're going to have 100% full stadiums for the fall, including Jerry Jones, a.k.a. the guy who turned $140 million investment into the Dallas Cowboys into $5.5 billion. And by the way, had himself a heck of a good time along the way